Ich begrüße euch am gleichen Tag zu einer anderen Zeit, zumindest im Vergleich zu normalerweise. Ja, es geht weiter mit Disco Elysium. Letztes Mal hat die Suche nach dem roten Faden nicht begonnen, aber das stand so ein bisschen im Mittelpunkt. Wir haben einen Schlüssel bekommen für die Fahrerkabine und ich habe jetzt so ein bisschen das mit den Gedanken verstanden, zumindest ist es meine Hoffnung. Ja, und es geht jetzt einfach mal weiter, weil wir müssen vorankommen. Ich muss vorankommen mit diesem Spiel. Genau. Wie sieht es hier aus? Ich glaube, damit spielen wir jetzt mal nicht rum. Das hätte ich vielleicht vorher machen können. Ist egal. Genau, mir wurde gesagt, die Kabine ist hier in der Nähe der Statue.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporaire, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days.
This is the one our man pointed to.
Genau, wir müssen, es muss Zeit verstreichen für die Gedankengänge. Wir haben jetzt 7:45 hier im Spiel. Bin mal gespannt, wie schnell das so geht, wenn man tatsächlich etwas unternimmt.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered with dust. You can barely make out the shape of a seat and two steering levers. It feels like you're peeking into someone's home residence. Inside it's private, cozy, warm, dusty too. You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound. Then the door pops back a few centimeters. You can just... The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals. These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye, a centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. A feeling of tenderness washes over you. A longing even, perhaps, and gentle tragedy. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on whom exactly. The actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle.
Das hat wahrscheinlich mit den Profilen der Stiefel zu tun. Da war doch einer, meine ich, ungleich. Und das würde die ja an den Tatort pinnen.
Sandpaper? A novel technique. Must be to offer some extra grip to the driver's foot. Yes?
Do the honors, he thinks. Connect it yourself.
Which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching. We've identified one of the footprints, but there are still 7 to go.
Endlich haben wir mal irgendwas gelöst. Meine Güte, ey.
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a pull-out toolbox tucked under the driver's seat.
Ich meine,
Some tools lie scattered near the pedals.
wir haben ja beim letzten Mal eigentlich nur versagt. Ne? Da hatte ich sogar eine erfolgreiche Probe bei diesem Rassisten. Nur um dann irgendwie doch zu scheitern. Und das hat mich auch irgendwo gebrochen. Ich hatte das in die Videobeschreibung der letzten Episode geschrieben. Und daraus hat sich auch dieser Eindruck von mir entwickelt, dass man bei diesem Spiel offenbar wirklich scheitern muss. Also nicht scheitern im Sinne von, ja, Proben oder sowas, sondern dass man sich irgendwie an das Gefühl gewöhnen muss, dass es nicht so läuft, wie man sich vorstellt. Und dass man auch erniedrigt werden muss, um quasi aus dieser Position heraus vielleicht sogar Vorteile ziehen zu können. Also ich habe mich ja anfangs gescheut, Antworten zu geben, für die ich mich irgendwie geschämt habe. Vielleicht ist es jetzt auch eine völlig idiotische Theorie. Hi. Hi, Martin. ähm, ja, vielleicht liegt die Theorie total daneben. Ich könnte mir aber vorstellen, dass es auch, weil es in so vielen Dialogen hier vorkommt, wirklich beabsichtigt ist, dass man, weil man diesen Chaoten verkörpert, dann auch wirklich quasi, ja, nicht zu Boden, aber irgendwie durch den Dreck gezogen werden muss. Und dass sich da einfach vielleicht wird so ein bisschen mit der Scham, der eigenen Scham so gespielt. Aber wer weiß, wenn wir jetzt ein paar Erfolge haben, so als Detektiv, vielleicht entwickelt sich ja dann was. Genau, schauen wir mal weiter.
A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper. It's an issue of Peripherique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system. These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. The rest is as it was. Radio, posters, a trace of motor oil smell under all the cigarettes. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed. Likely by the missing lady driver.
Das kann doch nicht sein, dass es jetzt alles war, ey.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be over 100 at least. For contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen, for example. This is all shortwave, UW and UKV. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. The nerve center of a huge operation. With quite a range too. Doesn't look like it. It's completely inoperable without a dial key.
The smell of 1,000 cigarettes, some dead actresses, and a rusty old toolbox under the seat. He closed the rusty old lorry door.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? Before we return to Joyce?
Ja, bitte.
All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
Ah, der will jetzt wieder mit der reden. Okay. Ich glaube nicht, dass es da was zu besprechen gibt.
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net. I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks.
Listening in on your calls between you and your station, a worrying prospect.
We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. But somehow, I doubt that Everard Clare would be oblivious to something like this happening right under his nose.
Jetzt hier so ein Tooltip gebe, der nochmal erklärt, wer Everard Clare ist. Uff.
My suggestion is, we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pin them down, indirectly, down the road. We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome. All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either. As elegant as they are, I don't think they are
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Yes, well...
Unimportant.
Debrief over, after you.
Okay, vielleicht ergibt sich jetzt was im Gespräch mit der Vertreterin. Ich bin mir ja nicht so sicher. Aber hey, Staurätsel gelöst. Nicht schlecht, würde ich sagen. Steht die immer noch auf ihrem Boot abends? Tatsache. Steht da einfach nur rum.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Kann ich etwas Geld haben? Ich habe von den Milliarden gehört. Warum ist es abgeschnitten? Okay. Das ist so idiotisch. Eigentlich müsste ich das versuchen. Komm, fuck it.
I am sorry.
Nein!
It just doesn't come out of your mouth. What does is...
Das Geld.
Excuse me? I didn't hear you. Of course. Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered? It doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand.
Kim. Slay.
Of course, detectives. In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail. They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
Das klingt ja nach einer Katastrophe.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
It will be all of them. The decision is already made.
Ist nicht Disco.
It's not good, no. My only hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The Debardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Yo, Robert, was geht?
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty. These men work in tandem using semi- and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath. Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the Citizens Militia.
Okay. Shots fired? Warum?
All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contractors, their tribunal, it's what they believe. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the Colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the Colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You meet her soon enough, you feel.
Ja, möglich, dass ich der begegnen werde.
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him. Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one,
Nee, die werde ich
almost certainly
bestimmt auch
armed to
noch
the teeth.
antreffen.
They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Ich lebe ja meine Proben. Vor allem, wenn die Chancen schlecht stehen. Wo stecken diese Söldner? Come on.
One is obviously the scout leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise.
Wie kommt er da drauf? Ey. Dieser Streikbrecher sein soll.
The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
Soll ich ihr das erzählen? Ja, komm.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Let's go, Kim.
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a shortwave at the ship's wheel. I hope I can answer it better.
Schaluppe. Okay.
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Down a deep, black well.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Voice Acting ist so gut.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes, all the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
May take some time. Ja. Apropos Time, schon eine Dreiviertelstunde vergangen in-game.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings?
Bald kann ich wieder mit Schädelmesser reden.
In my line of work, it
Dann habe ich
pays to do
seine
your
Rassentheorie
research. I was
verinnerlicht.
prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell. I have, and they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us. Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
5 days, not more. Maybe sooner.
Okay. Interessant, dass ich so Informationen von meinem Innenleben bekomme.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
5 Tage.
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
Oh nein.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Okay.
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a frigate not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent.
Für Sterne am Himmel.
Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
Where is he now?
Rede ich dann mit ihr oder mit mir?
I would say he's near the Arcade Islands by now, ready to exit the Insulindian and into the Pale, if I've read his home address correctly. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Preto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this. Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
Somewhere in an office lit by a single green desk lamp, Captain Ptolemaeus Price, 58, bald and bespectacled, is writing in a ledger on his desk. Rows and rows of days and weeks, laconic remarks in a single column. Patrol, case, vacation, injured. In Martinez looking into Krenel, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter.
Is that all? His platoon members? The other contractors? Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. Do what you have to do, Detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
We will be careful, ma'am.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Okay. Ey, das war doch nicht schlecht. Ganz schön viel Zeit vergangen. Und ich kann hier was erhöhen. Innenleben. Das hat mir ja vorhin schon was gebracht. Let's go. Innenleben gemaxt. Okay, da haben wir was herausgefunden. Und es geht hier um die anderen Söldner. Okay, bis 22 Uhr. Ich könnte jetzt halt echt mit dem Streikbrecher reden. Das Kind steht einfach immer noch draußen abends. Die spielen immer noch wohl. Vielleicht kann die Leiche mir was Neues sagen jetzt.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and white boots.
Of course. You have questions, don't you? The power of your imagination. Come back.
Okay. Das war leider nix. Ich hatte doch letztes Mal noch eine Idee.
This Postlavantorie mail collection box has been heavily
Dich
vandalized
Briefkasten.
with graffiti. A closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front. The box seems happy. Eat shit pig, fucked by the coon, and St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also. The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder, then you swallow. And then suddenly, you see it. Over all the other graffitos, someone has, using the tip of a very sharp knife, cut the words, Reversion forever.
Kurz mit dem Briefkasten gebondet. Kann man machen.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Probably some kids.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic. A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows.
Was geht bei der anderen?
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary. Your money disappears into the coin slot. A clunk, the ring of metal. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer stands a drab grey shape, like a ghost. The lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible, a half-sunken sea fort, its concrete almost reconquered by nature. It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it, its leaves ripped from it by the winter wind. The little brave birch tree seems to wave back in the wind.
Schön.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
Okay. Weniger zielführend vielleicht, als ich mir erhofft habe. Da ist noch eins. Hallo? Passiert gar nichts. Was ist hier?
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment building. The door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response. The door rattles again, but this time you hear an elderly woman's voice calling.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside. Doesn't matter who I am. Now go on, get out of here. Ha! The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here. No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
There is no reply, just faint sweeping sounds inside.
Mist.
The spread pattern of these bullet holes makes your chest ache. your breath grows heavier. You peer into the faded marks in the stone. They peer back like an endless row of tiny black holes. Sweat starts trickling down your brow. Your chest feels tight looking at them. It's
Alter.
closing in, caving in, ever tighter. Your breathing grows even heavier.
You okay there? Might be the after effects of your past escapades. What are you looking at? Remnants from the revolution. These are over half a century old. Perhaps a crime of a sort ages ago, but no, these do not warrant an investigation. Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it.
Hey, what's that noise down there?
Pennermütze. Reaktionsmögen verbessert. Okay, an der Stelle schnell speichern. Letztes Mal war hier voll der weirde Bug. Einfach von der Lautstärke vielleicht vorsichtshalber leiser machen.
There must be another way into the building.
Ja, ist immer noch. Diese Tür ist einfach verbuggt.
Can't get involved in this.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a
Durchbruch steht
cigarette.
bevor. Jawohl,
His
gleich habe
eyes
ich's.
have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer. I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything to spare.
Apologies, but this is my last one.
The god himself has denied you absolution.
Absolution? I don't know that brand, but I'm pretty sure you can get Astras at the Frit.
Er hat doch schon gesagt, dass er keine hat. Warum fragt er mir? Fragt er immer noch.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. As you wish. Is it really that important?
Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Martin Martinez? Good local name. Let's go with that.
Stimmt doch nicht. Das ist der Max Mustermann von Reverscholl.
I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme. Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away?
Der klingt irgendwie wie der andere Busfahrer da.
We will remove the body as soon as possible.
Martins sind
Now
immer
tell
gut.
us, where were you last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Oh, kann ich mich wieder nicht daran erinnern, dass ich schon mit dem gesprochen habe. Oh je.
No, not you. Some more muscular type.
Okay.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Ah, der meint den... Wie heißt der? Schädelmesser.
Last week? I don't know. Look.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over. It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend. How intriguing.
Elektrochemie, ne?
Makes sense. Friends are nice on Sunday. You don't have to work. You can just spend time with pals, watching rugby and drinking beer. He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the dull and darkening sky, the neighboring windows stand silent. Someone hides behind a curtain. Those windows have eyes, and those eyes are watching, spying on you three.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Zigarette geschnort. Mist. Ah. Verliert immer, gewinnt immer. 58%, ne?
Time to bring out your secret charm. Tears and begging. Show him your emotional side. Throw yourself before his very feet like a dog.
Jetzt muss ich die Konsequenzen erleiden für meine Torheit. Oh.
No, for God's sake, I don't want you to cry.
Ja,
Listen,
ist
I
offensichtlich
really have to go.
verstört, so wie ich.
Good luck with the investigation.
Mist, ey. Ja, ich habe mich lächerlich gemacht, Kim. Das musst du mir
He's
jetzt
gone.
nicht noch sagen.
No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case. There has to be a way of getting inside the building. Let's go check out the door near the pier again. Once we found a way in, we can ask around for his apartment.
Da war ich doch eben, Kim.
Advanced race theory.
Let's go.
Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous. The great race mystery has cleared up. All that's left to do is verbalize your thoughts. Go and talk to Measurehead about your newly found insights.
Sehr schön. Rigorose Selbstkritik. Dauert noch ein bisschen. Okay, aber wir können wenigstens noch was machen. Solange uns die Dinger nicht ausgehen, ist alles gut. Versuchen wir es halt nochmal hier.
A sturdy metal door guards the south. This could be a way into the apartment building the smoking man vanished into.
Good. We had enough problems with bums and drunks and thieves loitering in the hallway. You have no business here.
You're well
Yeah.
versed in the kind of threatening legalese that implies criminal liability, but in fact has no meaning whatsoever. Obviously, look at that vague yet threatening stuff spewing forth from your mouth.
I know my rights, and don't you marm me, boy.
Miss, would it help if we offer to show you our badges?
Hold your horses. I don't care about your stinking badge. Just come in.
Verzeichnen Erfolge.
Give me
Mit
a
den
moment.
gelben Handschuhen sehe ich auch so professionell aus, ey.
cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
Ich habe keinen Ausweis. Was ist das für eine dämliche Frage?
I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me.
You're still worried. It's very worrying.
Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
Martin Martinez. Uff.
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways. If you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all I need from this world.
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats down hard on the coal room door outside. Splashes of waves make the balcony slippery.
Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry. Pea-brain, someone played a trick on you. Martin Martinez is a name for anyone who comes from Martinez, like Tim Jamrock or Raoul Ravachol.
Oops, you really didn't get the joke there.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
Ich habe mich lächerlich gemacht. Oh Mann. Ich denke auch nie nach, ey.
Yes, yes, I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for? Talk? He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of those doors there.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor. A former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with its clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool in the middle of the room. Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down. Is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression.
Nicht da lang? Ja. Let's go. Einfach Sachen klauen. Der Rauch auf dem Balkon. Tür 28. Es wäre doch gelacht, wenn wir da nicht hinkommen. Stecken einfach alles ein. Richtig gierig. Postkarte. Let's go.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture.
Momentan komme ich hier nicht weiter.
This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security.
Nice.
Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home. Knock on the door.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening.
Es ist doch abends.
We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry. You'll get him.
Na gut. Dann reden wir jetzt mit Schädelmesser. Ich finde, das ist doch ein super Höhepunkt für diese Episode. Und tatsächlich haben wir Fortschritte gemacht, ey. Ich kann es kaum glauben. Oh Mann. Hat sich für einen Moment angefühlt wie eine richtige Ermittlung. Ich bin gespannt, was es jetzt bringt, hier diesen Gedankengang abgeschlossen zu haben. Dieser Long Way Home war ja total abstrus. Und ich kann jetzt nicht sagen, dass ich gemerkt habe, dass sich durch den Abschluss irgendwas verändert hat. Ja, aber ich glaube, hier passiert jetzt tatsächlich was. Und ich meine, ich habe ja richtig viele Informationen gesammelt. Kann ich ja auch nächste Woche an etwas anknüpfen hier. So. Let's go, Junge. Rassentheorie.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
Verpasse ihm einen Schlag. Nee, das mache ich nicht. Oh Gott, kann ich da viele Antworten geben? Ich sollte mich ihm unterordnen. Das war meine Anweisung am letzten Mal. Das erscheint mir jetzt... Es erscheint mir die einzige Antwort zu sein, die in diese Richtung geht. Und obwohl ich da jetzt andere auch interessant von finde, nehme ich jetzt mal die basierend auf dieser Sache.
Everyone can see that. It has little to do with the race enigma.
Baby, don't be mean. Give him another chance.
Anything for you, babe.
Okay, ist entweder die 2 oder die 4.
Look, babe. The minion of law is also a racist. But his racism is basic and rote. He thinks he has solved the great race enigma by describing a road mechanism of scientific competition.
So unadvanced.
The basic race education he received in high school has led him to think his phylum are the sole authors of race theory. An esoteric study reaching back to the ancient mass society of Pericarnassus over 4,500 years ago. Basic racist, I take pity on you. You clearly want to enter the harbor bad. Like a little boy who wants to go on the potty. I can press the button for you. It will open the door. Very well. You may enter the door once.
Oh.
Our race conversation here has concluded.
Finally. Let's go.
Okay. Das lief anders ab, als ich mir vorgestellt habe, aber ich finde, das ist ein schöner Exit. Nein, ich versuche nicht Rassist zu werden. Eigentlich wüsste ich gerne, wie die anderen Antworten abgelaufen wären, aber ich lade hier jetzt nichts, um mir das anzuschauen. Wir können uns da beim nächsten Mal drüber unterhalten. Ja, das stimmt wohl. Nein, ich habe jetzt eine Chance in den Hafen zu gehen und ich mache mir noch mal Gedanken, was ich da will, bevor ich jetzt reingehe. Es ist auf jeden Fall fast schon 22 Uhr. Also so oder so habe ich beim nächsten Mal mehrere Dinge, die ich machen kann und an die ich anknüpfen kann. Ja, das Gespräch mit Schädelmesser war jetzt nicht so lang, wie ich dachte, aber ich finde trotzdem interessant, dass es sich so ja, ich möchte eigentlich fast noch mal mit ihm reden, weil das war jetzt wieder ganz anders, als ich mir vorgestellt habe. Aber das kann ich ja beim nächsten Mal machen. Ich werde sicher noch mal an ihm vorbeikommen, wenn ich im Hafen war. Genau. Dann beende ich das an der Stelle für heute. Ich finde toll, dass ihr zugeschaut habt. Und ich freue mich aufs nächste Mal. Langsam kommt das Spiel auch so ein bisschen für mich ins Rollen. klar, ich hatte vor der letzten Episode auch wieder eine längere Pause leider, aber das war jetzt diesmal gar nicht so erniedrigend. Vielleicht ist es so beabsichtigt, vielleicht war das einfach meine Art und Weise, auf die Antworten zu reagieren. Ich meine, ich habe ja heute auch wieder ein paar Proben vermasselt, aber ich hatte nicht das Gefühl, dass die Konsequenzen davon so erheblich waren wie bei den anderen Gesprächen. Martin, falls es jetzt die erste Episode war, die du dir angeguckt hattest, ich verstehe etwa genauso viel wie du, auch jetzt, nachdem ich schon mehrere Stunden gespielt habe. Ich glaube, es ist gar nicht so leicht reinzukommen. Und es ist auch wahrscheinlich für jeden außer Robert gar nicht so leicht zu verfolgen, da er das Spiel selbst gespielt hat. Aber ja, ich finde, es lohnt sich. Es ist ganz unkonventionell. Vielleicht nicht im Rahmen von Rollenspielen allgemein, aber es ist halt ein sehr passives Spielen. Es ist mehr so ein Denken und Überlegen, mehr als tatsächliches Spielen durch Eingaben oder sowas. Also jetzt in das Medium oder so. Es passiert hier auch nicht viel auf dem Bildschirm, das ist mir klar. Aber ich finde es trotzdem sehr unterhaltsam, einfach weil der Text super gut ist. Also das begeistert mich wirklich jedes Mal. Und ich hoffe für die Zukunft einfach nur, dass ich mich nicht mehr so oft vor Kim blamiere und er vielleicht stolz auf mich sein kann irgendwann. Naja, das war's von meiner Seite aus. Nächstes Wochenende geht es auf jeden Fall weiter. Ich bin mir noch nicht sicher, ob Samstag oder Sonntag. Ich nehme an samstags. Aber das kommuniziere ich auch nochmal. Wie gesagt, vielen Dank und einen schönen Restabend noch.